So today we're going to be talking about semicolons, apostrophes, underlining and italicizing, and quotation marks. So we're doing a lot of things today, but really the only one that's kind of tricky is quotation marks. Really we can kind of lump these together. So a semicolon joins two independent clauses, so that's two complete sentences, but does not use a coordinating conjunction, right? So if we had said, I like to ride trains and I like to paint trains, because why wouldn't I want to ride and paint them? I would have comma and. But if I just said, I like to ride trains, semicolon, I like to paint trains, then it would kind of join them together, right? You want them to be linked, right? So like he likes apples, she likes oranges, he goes to Harvard, she goes to Yale. These are all complete sentences. There's no coordinating conjunction, so they're joined by a semicolon. Sometimes we'll use them in our and sometimes we'll use them in our lists that have commas within them. So like London, England, we need a comma between the city and the country, right? And same with like cities and states in the United States, or states in the country. We have to put a comma in between. So rather than having another comma here, which might get a little complicated, we put a semicolon instead, right? So we've got London, England, Paris, France, Madrid, Spain, Rome, Italy, right? So we have it, we basically replace the comma with a semicolon because we have these other commas that are complicated. You can also use it in a compound complex sentence that already contains other commas, right? So we have a dependent clause. If you understand this rule, you can use it, right? So we have that dependent clause joined with this complete sentence, okay? And then we can use it. We can use a comma here or a semicolon here, and you'll seem very smart. You could also use a comma here and it would be fine, okay? But really the big way that you're going to be using coordinated or semicolons is this, right? Two independent clauses with no coordinating conjunction. Apostrophes make possessives and make contractions. They do not make words plural, right? If I'm talking about a whole bunch of cats, I don't need apostrophe S. I just need the S, okay? So possessive pronouns don't use apostrophes, right? Hers, its, ours, yours, etc. When we will see it apostrophe S is when it is. The way that I remember that is that two words gets preference over one word, right? So it's with an apostrophe is actually two words, okay? It's without one is just showing ownership. So it's the only time when we're kind of doing that. If the word is plural and it ends in an S, then you add an apostrophe just kind of on the end, okay? So dogs, these are lots of dogs, and talking about their owners. So then we just have one apostrophe kind of here on the end. If you have a singular noun that ends in an S, like boss, then you add apostrophe S. So you end up with three S's, which looks awful, but it is the way that you would do it. Same with Brutus, right? His name is just Brutus. It just ends with an S. He's not plural. So then I just do apostrophe. Okay. With underlining and italicizing, they are the same thing. Okay. Always the same thing. And you just, if you're typing a paper, just pick one and stick with it. It doesn't matter which one you use as long as you're consistent. You don't want to do a mixture of italicizing and underlining. So you underline or italicize long things, okay? Long things. Newspapers, magazines, albums, movies, novels, plays, right? Oedipus Rex, The Charlotte Observer, Avengers Endgame, To Kill a Mockingbird. All those are long things that need to be underlined, okay? You can also underline the names of like ships, trains, or artwork, like the USS Alabama or Guernica, which is a painting by Pablo Picasso. And sometimes you'll underline or italicize foreign expressions. So like if I'm, writing hola, I might put that in italics because it's a different language, okay? Quotation marks are used to quote titles of short things. So short stories, poems, songs, articles, episodes, TV shows, whatever, they get quotation marks because they're little, right? How Much Land Does a Man Need is a short story. Dulce et Decorum Est is a poem, okay? Jurassic Bark is a TV show, okay? I Hope is a song, right? You would, if you were doing the album that song is on, then you would underline that or you'd put it in italics. You also use use quotations to quote dialogue and words copied from other sources, right? She said, see you losers. Commas and periods, that follow quoted words always go inside the closing quotation marks. Okay, colons and semicolons always go outside. Okay, we're friends. We don't date. You can use single quotation marks to enclose quotes within quotes. You're not going to have to deal with this very often, but right. So like the reporter told Mark, when I interviewed, it should be interviewed, not interviews. When I interviewed the quarterback, he said they simply, quote, played a better game, right? So the reporter is telling Mark this. The quarterback said this part, all right? So that's where we're having those kind of quotation marks. So I'm going to have a different video for the IXL practice. So let me know if you guys need anything. Bye.